I'm O.W. Root, and this is Pleasant Peninsula. There's a smell to fall. You know it. It's hard to explain it. I'm not sure there's words that can really capture it, but you know it when you know it. We're not really in bona fide fall yet. I'm looking up at the trees right now and I see a few red and orange leaves, but nothing's really fallen onto the ground yet. So we're not really in the throes of fall, but we're right on the edge, right at the very beginning. There's a smell. You smell it most at night and in the morning. My wife and I were outside on Friday night. We could hear the high school football game just a little distance away. And it was completely dark. It was damp, mid-50s. We breathed in, and we both said to each other, that's a fall smell. It's different than spring. It's different than summer. It's different than winter. What is it? Spring is the closest season in terms of, it's really that's the partner for fall. Because summer and winter, those are the extremes. Spring and fall are these transition seasons. So why is it different than spring? Because often, these temperatures, mid-50s, low 50s at night, mid-60s in the day, it's kind of spring weather up here too. What makes that fall smell different than spring smell? Well, the spring smell is new life, that new fresh life. It's sweet, it's a sweet smell. A friend was up visiting a couple springs ago, and they remarked that in May, they remarked the air is so sweet here. And I didn't really even notice it until he said it. And then I realized it's sweet here. It smells sweet. That is the spring. All those new flowers, all the new growth. Fall is the exact opposite. Real bona fide fall. Leaves falling fall. That smell, the decaying leaves, the foliage, wet and damp. That's when you walk through the woods and you're sort of tossing up brown leaves on the forest floor. Again, I'm not sure there's words to describe that. You just know it. Or the smell of dry leaves. Honestly, we've got this huge maple tree back here, and it's insane. It's an insane amount of raking you have to do. But sometimes in the fall, when they're nice and dry and crackly, I just pick them up and smell them like that. And that smell, God, I love that smell. It's such a special smell. It's not here that long. It's a transitionary smell. It's only when those leaves have fallen before you break them up and before the frost and the snow comes and kills all that scent. Scent's an interesting thing. Scent is one of those senses that is fascinating because we can't really recreate it. We can take pictures of scenes. We can record sounds. You're recording me right now, or I'm recording myself right now for you. We can make music to try to create a sensation. But we cannot create smell, really. People try. It doesn't work. And fragrance is great, but that's not recreating a real smell. You can't recreate that autumn smell. You cannot do it. You can capture a picture-perfect memory. You cannot capture picture-perfect fall smell. Something special there. Go out, smell that beautiful smell. Only lasts so long. Would you rather live in a big house right next to a strip mall, surrounded by concrete, in the shadow of a city, the smog of the city hanging overhead? Or would you rather live in a manufactured home, a trailer, right on Lake Michigan? So would you rather? And I like would you rathers. Some people don't like would you rathers, but I think they're good because they push us up against the wall and force us to answer, or at least examine the question with no way out, no third option. And this isn't a false would you rather. It's not a false question. It's a real question because both of these homes exist in our state. There are many homes, big homes right next to strip malls, right by the city. And there are even manufactured homes and trailers right on Lake Michigan. I drive 31 a lot. And as you're going to Charlevoix on 31, you drive right along the lake. I noticed some years ago trailers, a trailer park, though it's referred to officially as a manufactured home community, looking right over Lake Michigan, right over Little Traverse Bay. And I thought to myself, my God, that is the most beautiful location for a trailer park or manufactured home community I've ever seen in my entire life. And then as you get closer to Charlevoix, right outside Charlevoix, there's another place, Northern Cove Estates. It's also right overlooking Lake Charlevoix, not right on the lake. You don't have beach access, but you can see Lake Charlevoix, sailboats, glistening water from that trailer park. And this isn't a trailer park, this is just an individual home, but I was up in the Garden Peninsula in the UP this past spring, and I saw a double wide or manufactured home. I'm not an expert on exactly which one it was, but I believe it was a double wide, right on Lake Michigan. And there was a little swing set for kids to play on right next to it. And it was obviously, they owned the lot. It was a big lot. But it was right on Lake Michigan. Just a beautiful view, right by Fairport. The Fairport in Garden Peninsula is so quiet. I mean, nobody lives down there. So this is just, it's basically your own private waterfront, really. In these scenes, these places where people live are wonderful. They're gorgeous. They are the places that people go to visit. Maybe not Fairport. Nobody really goes up the Garden Peninsula. But Charlevoix and Little Traverse Bay, absolutely. This is where tourists spend tons of money to visit every single summer. And this question of, would you rather live in a big house, really ugly place? Would you rather live in the smallest kind of house, trailer, manufactured home, double wide, in the most beautiful place? It's a good question. It's a philosophical question. It makes us ask ourselves what really brings us happiness. And it's a personal question. I'm not telling you should or shouldn't live anywhere. I'm not saying I would or wouldn't live anywhere. Though I do live in a small house, and I do live up north, and I do live near the lake. So I guess I'm closer to the small house, the small manufactured home on the lake, rather than the big house in an ugly place. I'm not telling you what to do, but I am asking you to ask yourself that question. What brings us happiness? Is it the building, the house, or the place? There's no answer, no real right answer. But as with all would you rathers, we learn something about ourselves when we interrogate the question. House or place? I'm O.W. Root for Michigan Enjoyer.